The world asks much of a man. It demands strength, provision, and unwavering resolve. But few acknowledge the silent, crushing weight of responsibility he carries. This is not a burden for the weak, nor one that can be easily shared. It is the solitary crucible of manhood. A man is born into a world that immediately begins to place demands upon him. From the earliest age, there are expectations. Be strong, be brave, be the one who stands firm. As he grows, these expectations solidify into concrete duties, to family, to work, to community, and often to himself in a way few others can comprehend. This is the genesis of the weight. It is the responsibility for outcomes that are not entirely within his control. It is the commitment to protect those who are vulnerable, to provide for those who depend on him, and to lead with a clarity that might not always exist within his own heart. This load is invisible. It is not measured in pounds or kilograms, but in the strain on his psyche, the toll on his spirit, and the quiet anxieties that keep him awake in the dead of night. The modern world often champions vulnerability and open emotional expression. While valuable, this narrative can sometimes obscure the fundamental truth. Certain responsibilities are inherently solitary. A man might have friends, a partner, mentors, but the ultimate decision, the final accountability, often rests on his own shoulders alone. This is not a complaint. It is a declaration of reality. Consider the soldier on the battlefield. He carries the weight of his comrades' lives, the success of the mission, and the expectation of his nation. He cannot afford to crumble. Or the king, whose decisions can mean prosperity or famine for thousands. The weight is immense, and it rests upon him regardless of his personal comfort or doubt. This burden shapes a man. It forges him in a silent furnace. The constant need to perform, to be dependable, to absorb pressure without yielding, carves deep lines into his character. It is through carrying this weight that many men discover a strength they never knew they possessed. But what is the cost? The cost is often a profound sense of isolation. The inability to fully articulate the pressures he faces, the fear of appearing weak if he admits to the struggle, leads to a self-imposed silence. He learns to internalize, to process, to solve problems in the quiet of his own mind. This can build resilience, but it can also lead to a deep loneliness. This isn't about stoicism as a form of emotional suppression, a denial of pain. True stoicism, as espoused by thinkers like Marcus Aurelius, is about accepting what you cannot change and focusing your energy on what you can control. Your own actions, your own judgments, your own character. It is about understanding that external circumstances are often tumultuous, but the internal citadel of a man's mind and will can remain unbreached. He learns that true strength isn't the absence of fear or doubt, but the action taken in spite of them. It is the quiet commitment to do what must be done, even when the path is arduous and the praise is scarce. This is the essence of carrying the weight. This internal discipline is a learned skill, honed through experience and deliberate practice. It involves recognizing the pressure, acknowledging its validity, and then consciously choosing to stand firm. It means confronting the potential for failure not with panic, but with a measured resolve to learn and adapt. Why does this solitary weight seem to be an almost universal experience for men? Perhaps it is a fundamental aspect of societal roles, or an inherent drive within the masculine psyche to protect and provide. Whatever the root, the effect is undeniable. A man often finds himself at the apex of his own pyramid of responsibility. The capacity to bear this weight is not a given. It is cultivated. It requires an honest appraisal of one's own limitations and an unyielding commitment to growth. It demands a willingness to face adversity head-on rather than seeking escape. This journey involves mastering the self. It means understanding one's own triggers, managing one's own impulses, and consistently aligning actions with deeply held values, even when it is difficult or unpopular. It is the continuous, silent work of building an unshakable inner foundation. The world sees the capable man, the provider, the leader. It sees the surface, the results, the achievements, the stability. It rarely sees the internal architecture, the countless hours of wrestling with doubt, the sacrifices made in silence, the sheer mental fortitude required to maintain composure under immense pressure. This is the unseen burden. It is the quiet hum of obligation that underlies a man's existence. It is the knowledge that, at the end of the day, the final custodians of many critical outcomes are his own hands. This understanding can be daunting, but it also holds the key to profound self-respect and purpose. The philosophical traditions, particularly Stoicism, offer invaluable frameworks for navigating this reality. They teach that while we cannot control external events or the demands placed upon us, we can control our response to them. This locus of control is the bedrock of resilience. A man learns to find solace not in the absence of burdens, but in the strength he develops to carry them. He discovers that the very act of shouldering responsibility is what defines him, what gives his life meaning and direction. It is a heavy mantle, but one that can be worn with dignity. This does not mean a man must endure in absolute isolation. He can seek wisdom, draw strength from shared struggle, and find support where it is genuine. But ultimately, the capacity to stand tall when the storm rages, to hold the line when others falter, this is a power that must reside within him, forged in the crucible of his own resolve. He understands that his worth is not measured by the ease with which he carries his load, but by his unwavering commitment to carry it at all. This is the essence of the solitary strength that defines true manhood. It is a quiet power, often unseen, but undeniably potent. So, the next time you see a man facing immense pressure, remember the unseen burden. Remember the silent battles fought within. His strength is not in the absence of weight, but in the unyielding power of his will to bear it. This is the heavy yet noble path. The world asks much of a man. It demands strength, provision, and unwavering resolve. He carries this weight not because it is easy, but because it is his. And in bearing it, he finds his truest self, a solitary pillar against the storms of existence.